The Trade Union Congress says it has announced it's suspended its membership from the PURC effective Tuesday, November 5, 2013.
Misunderstanding on the increase. We think that it will be appropriate for us to stay out of the PURC meetings until we resolve this matter. So it is a kind of an expression of dissatisfaction that has led us to say we are withdrawing our person. Indeed, going forward, we may have to find out whether it will be necessary to be represented on the PRC. But for now, the decision of the leadership is that we should stop our rep from attending the meetings until we resolve this matter.
The action, according to the General Secretary of TUC, Mr. Kofi Asamoah, was in response to the high increases in utilities. Now, he said they have given negative effect on the Ghanaian worker. Now, what does the TUC's decision mean? This is our big story for today. Right, and so the TUC General Secretary, they announcing that huge decision to get its representation on the PURC board out, and it says it is due to the increases in utility tariffs. Now, Eric Curtis Howard was there when that huge announcement was made, and he's joining me right here in the studio. Eric, welcome. Now, first of all, did it come as a shock to you when the announcement was made?
Okay, when we went for the PURC had a meeting, and they expected the TUC to be part of that meeting. Actually, the meeting was called not to deliberate with the TUC as to how best they can resolve this whole strike threat on November 18. That was what the meeting was actually about, but not about the fact that they were going to reduce the tariff. What the PURC did was that they invited the power producers to come and explain to the TUC the position that they have arrived in, how much they're generating, the cost it was they were incurring as in per the power that they're generating, so that the TUC could understand why the hikes. So in that they will better understand, and they will go ahead as to how they can calm nerves and make sure that the November 18 strike action. But the TUC did not turn up. And per the information, when I spoke to Kofi Asamoah, what he said was that they sent a letter to the PURC that they couldn't come for the meeting because they had an earlier meeting at the Flagstaff House with the Ghana Employers Association, with government, and with some few other. But the PURC was saying that the letter was not addressed to Kofi Asamoah, but it was addressed to the leadership of organized labor and the TUC. So he was expecting that a representation of some sort should be at that particular meeting. So they were a bit disappointed.
And the TUC deciding to pull out, it means that it is still bent on embarking on that strike action with organized labor on 18. That is why it has pulled out.
Yes, and when I spoke to Kofi Asamoah, what he told me was that beginning next week, from next week Monday, there will be series of demonstrations. That's what he confirmed. Series of the demonstrations. It will start from the regional capital. Accra will witness a bit of it. Tema will witness, but it will start from the regional capital and to go on. But he made one observation that they're still open up for dialogue. So if the PURC wants to call them tomorrow, or even on Thursday or Friday for a meeting to come and resolve the issue, they will. But he's standing on one thing. the meeting should be about the reduction in the tariff,
and not any other. So what this means is that the TUC's representation on the PRC board, that is the TUC's chairman, Mr. Bonny, will no longer attend meetings of the PRC.
Yeah, he said that it's just in they are fighting a case. They are fighting a warfare, and they want to make sure that tariffs are reduced. So until there's a reduction in tariff, why should they have representation on the board, go to meeting? And he said, I asked him one question, that the TUC law mandates that the TUC must be represented on the board of the PRC.
That's PRC Act 538 says that the commission shall be composed of the following persons, and it mentions the chairman, one person nominated by the Trade Union Congress, and so that person should sit on the board.
And he told me that the law is the law. If they decide that they are not going to go and sit on the board, nothing can be done to them. So
how is the PRC taking this?
Okay, for the PRC, when the lawyer that spoke, their legal representative, Mr. Metepe, what he said was that they were going to take this further. They're going to Parliament. They're going to all the legal authorities. They're going to speak to them, and we'll find out what does it mean that if the law says this person should be on my board, and the person decides to stay out, what does it mean? They want legal this interpretation. So based on that, they are going to advise themselves as to what to do.
But it did not, the decision to pull out a representative on the board, it did not in any way perhaps push PRC to say that, well, because you're pulling your rep out, we're going to take a second look at the utility tariffs again.
No. For today's meeting, the PRC made it categorically clear. They said that the moment we reduce tariff, we'll go back to the load shedding era, and also there will be the situation whereby the utility providers have to go and get government subventions to go about their work. And I spoke to the managing director of the Sonny Asogli power plant.
Right.
You know, it's one of the independent power producers, and what he said was that most of their maintenance works and production is in dollars, and consistently they've had difficulty receiving monies for the services that they've rendered to the ECG because of the back and forth, that there are no monies and everything. So he believes that once the tariffs increase and the ECG have enough funding to go about the activity, they will get their funding on time to produce the power that we all need as Ghanaians to enjoy. So the load shedding bits that the executive secretary Samuel Sapon hit on was where they stood, and they said it is not an option for them
to reduce the tariff.
Yeah,
right. Let's listen to the TUC Secretary General Kofi Asare. Now, he earlier spoke to Joy News, and he said that it will not budge on its decision to strike if the PRC does not review the tariffs downward.
We've been on the PRC, the TUC has been on the PRC since its inception, and we've been playing the role as expected. And you may recall that since these increases, I think there are some views as to the fact that if we are represented on the PRC board, why complaining? And we have explained generally that in principle we are represented there by law, but in the midst of this misunderstanding on the increase, we think that it will be appropriate for us to stay out of the PRC meetings until we resolve this matter. So it is a kind of an expression of dissatisfaction that has led us to say we are withdrawing our person. Indeed, going forward, we may have to find out whether it will be necessary to be represented on the PRC. But for now, the decision of the leadership is that we should stop our rep from attending the meetings until we resolve this matter. The law says come and say I won't come. What is it? We are saying that he shouldn't attend their meetings until we resolve this matter. So they can give any twist and any interpretation. Our letter to them is
Mr. Kofi Asare also said that the TUC is willing to meet with PRC for a negotiation that will favor the ordinary Ghanaian. Let's hear that too.
And each time it's created a wrong impression in the minds of others as to why even though deep in us we know that, and in principle, in terms of institutions.
We'll bring you that sound bite later, but the Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is insisting that a downward review of the tariffs is simply impossible.
Implications for further reductions in the tariff, that is load shedding and deficit which might be covered to avoid the utility service provider from collapsing. A scenario where there will be a complete shutdown of 2 thermal plants, Senate and Gensa Power, who are IPPs, one of which belongs to the workers of Ghana. And this will considerably bring the price down, but the implication of this action is that there's going to be load shedding because these 2 IPPs contribute a total of 128 megawatts in the generation mix. Another implication is that when this plant is removed from the system, the bottom line is that it is going to affect the payments of pensions to workers in the future because it will be an investment by Senate gone down the drain.
And for that is the Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, there, Mr. Sapon, insisting that the tariffs will remain the same and that it will not go downwards. Now, is the TUC in this situation, from your interaction with Mr. Asamoah, do you see them taking to the street? He said on Monday, the strikes, series of demonstrations will start. Is there no way to resolve this?
Okay, when I spoke to him, one thing he said, the sudden increments on Ghanaians was just too much. What he was saying, he was stagger the increments, sort of stagger it, spread it across. He said they are not against the increment, right, but spread it across. This year, spread it by this margin. The next year, spread it by this margin. And by the third year, when it hits a certain margin, then we go back to the automatic adjustments, the formula, right, so that it gets everything going. But the one-off increment is what they are against. And he made it clear that beginning Monday, the regional, even when I spoke to the ICU, the spokesperson, Eliezer Bobo, some time back, he also indicated that they to start with the regional strikes. But on the Monday, the 18th, there will be nothing. He said that
despite the fact that there seems to be some kind of division on the front of organized labor, you find some of them, especially for instance, the Ghana Federation of Labor is not too happy with what is happening. You also think that the organized labor can have enough people on the street?
Okay, one thing I can confirm.
From what perhaps Mr. Kofi Asam told.
One thing I can confirm was that whilst I was having an interview with Mr. Kofi Asam, he was in a proud meeting with leaders from the GPRTU, from NAGRAT and some. They were in a meeting and we managed to pull him out for that particular interview. So when I told him that even the energy provider says they won't allow their staff to be part of the demonstration on November 18, he just laughed it off. He said, okay,
we'll see what happens. But let me speak to a labor expert and try and see what is happening on the labor front. Senor Ajabin has just joined us. Senor, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Good evening to you.
Now, first of all, we seem to be heading into a cliff. Now, TUC has just announced that it is pulling out its representative from the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, which means that it will not cooperate with the Commission in any discussion that has to do with reduction in tariffs. It will only do that after the tariffs have been reduced. But tell me, this is simply not good for the labor front.
Well, I do not think that we should even begin to look at it from the labor angle. Because what is happening, especially with the pulling out of the TUC from the PURC board, is a matter of corporate governance. The PURC board is the executive authority for the PURC and directs the management to undertake the work in accordance with the PURC Act 538. So I think that it is unfortunate that the board have allowed for things to deteriorate to this extent. And I think that if a member of the board was agitated about something, the board should have taken it upon itself to resolve these disputes within itself so that it doesn't cause this kind of problem. Now, the challenge is that the confidence which the public has in the PURC, which indeed the PURC has been fighting for a long time, since even its inception, with issues of whether it is truly independent and so on, is actually being further challenged. You see, so I think that it's so unfortunate. It shouldn't have gotten to this. I think that the board should sit and then ensure that this is resolved so that TUC can come back to the board.
I'm saying that the Labour front is not too exciting, let me put it that way, because one, organised Labour seem to be divided about this particular issue. Now, there are talks about dialoguing to find a solution. Then TUC says, we are pulling out a representative on the PRC board. It doesn't send the right signal. That is what I mean.
Yes, sure, you're right. It doesn't send the right signal. Indeed, the challenges on the Labour front, especially within Labour itself, is something that has been ongoing for a while.
Right.
I believe it is just these issues that have brought it to the fore. And so while TUC and organised Labour are going about this fight for their members, it also shows that they still have some work to do within their ranks. And I know that the TUC, as leader and spokesperson of organised Labour, has been trying to have consultations with the membership of the organised Labour groups to try and resolve this. But beyond that, it's even more problematic for the other stakeholders because organised Labour is represented on very strategic and important levels and positions, just like the board of the PURC. They are on the tripartite committee. There are other areas of governance. And if we are not happy about something, we need to find a solution to it as soon as possible so that it doesn't affect other areas of our governance structure, especially where organised Labour and the TUC are members.
Senor, kindly hold the line for me. Let me try and seek some legal interpretations of what has just happened. Legal practitioner Dr. Maria Zampa has just joined this discussion. Now, Dr. Zampa, thanks for your time.
I'm also grateful to share my opinion on this issue.
Right. Now, the PRC, the Act 538 is the one that sets the commission up. And it says that the commission shall be composed of the following persons appointed by the president in consultation with the Council of State. It talks about the chairman. It talks about one person nominated by the Trade Union Congress. It talks about one person nominated by the Association of Ghana Industries, one representative of domestic consumers, and then the executive secretary appointed under Section 33 of this Act. Now, 4 other persons with knowledge of matters in this direction are also appointed. Now, one person who sits on the board, the TUC says, I no longer want to do anything with the board until tariffs are reduced. What legal implications does it hold?
It's a serious issue legally because what it has done is to weaken the board in terms of representation, because then the issue of quorum, legally quorum, whether their failure to be there can affect any decision taken by the board. Because if there's a quorum for them to have a legal binding on whatever decision they come, and if that quorum is affected by their withdrawal, then we will see what the law says about that. But you see, at the end of the day, it's the Constitution that governs everything. So whether it is constitutionally right for them to withdraw and what are the constitutional implications for withdrawing. And I think that they have the right to withdraw because it's a matter of them exercising their right to protest against what they think that it is not good and best in their interest, because we have the constitution says that everybody has the right to pursue anything that will protect its interest. So if TUC by law think that their interest is not being protected by PRC, then they have the right under the constitution to withdraw their services. So the legal implication is that it may affect the legal quorum for a decision for PRC to take. But as of now, that is the way they think they want to go, and constitutionally nobody can stop them from doing that.
Explain further. Does it also mean that if today or tomorrow the PRC will need to take a decision on any of its operations without the TUC representative, that decision can be declared null and void because one representative isn't there? Is that what it means?
Yes, that's what it means, because you need a quorum in law to take a decision. So if the law provides for certain representatives to be there so that legally any decision of that board will be legally binding. Once you don't have one of the representatives there, then the legal implication is that there is no quorum. And in law, once there's no legal quorum, then any decision taken is not a decision of the PRC. So let's look at it from that angle.
And just before I let you go, the PRC, in a way, do you think it can compel TUC to come back to it?
No, I don't think they have the legal and constitutional authority to do so. One, they are not a court, unless they can look at the act and see whether there is a remedy that they can go to court and seek what we call a relief compelling TUC to come on board. But I don't see the court granting such a relief, because under the current constitution, when you feel like being part of a body, you can go and be part of that body.
Right.
When you think that the body is not serving your interests, you can withdraw. So I don't think they can constitutionally and legally take an action against Labour for withdrawing.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. Dr. Maurice Ampao is the President, Legal Advocacy Foundation, a legal practitioner. We're trying to look at the legal implications of what had just happened. TUC decided to pull out its representative on the board of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Now, Abigail Adomakwentri has just returned from a meeting with the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, where the TUC boss was there. Abigail, thanks so much for joining us. Now, was this issue discussed about the TUC leaving PRC and the issue of utilities being reduced? Was it discussed between the two?
What I can say is that the meeting was close to the media.
Right.
The Skofia Samoa and the minister had a meeting, and then afterwards they had to meet the Tripartite Committee in general. I was not privy to the discussions that went on in there, but after the whole meeting, I had to speak to the minister, and he told me that they are dialoguing and they are trying to resolve the current issues that are happening, and they concluded that they would not speak to the media on whatever went on in there. And what he can tell me was that they haven't concluded yet on, the decision of the organized labor, but they are still dialoguing, and they would continue to meet before the November 18 deadline. But he was very optimistic that the TUC, organized labor, would go back on their words, because it seemed positive. I tried to interact with Mr. Samoa, but he declined to speak to me because he wanted to go according to what they have all
and from his body language, you saw in him ready to lead the TUC to begin the demonstrations on Monday. He
just told me that they are still dialoguing, so whatever happens, we would definitely know. He didn't send any signal of. He appeared very firm with the decision that they have decided to go by, and so let's see what happens. But from the minister's point of view, things look very positive, and he's still talking to them to understand the situations. What he's saying is that the utility tariffs, that according to the TUC, they understand the tariffs that have been increased by now, but what they actually want is that the PURC should not let us as consumers pay everything.
We should stagger the increment.
Exactly.
Instead of paying at once. At least every year we need to pay something.
Exactly.
Let me quickly pick this from you. Was the minister aware at that point that the TUC has decided to pull its representative from the PRC?
He was aware. I actually asked him, and he didn't want to comment because he said they are still dialoguing. I could feel the pressure on the minister. He sounded very worried, very uneasy in his seat, and he told me that I have clearly ambushed him because he wasn't supposed to speak to me after the meeting. That was the agreement, but he eventually spoke and told me that they are still discussing. The energy minister was there, the deputy finance minister, Ricky Hagan, was there. They were all in there trying to
find a way out. Before I let you go, from what you saw, the body language of these persons, the employment minister, the deputy finance minister, the energy minister, and the TUC boss, did you notice or did you see that we could avoid the demonstrations and strikes come November 18?
I wouldn't want to clearly say that we can avoid, but there have been some, dialogue going on. We are just hoping for the best. According to the minister, he is very positive. He thinks, if I can quote him, he thinks that by November 18 we wouldn't have any strike. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Happy Galadumbo Queen has just returned from a meeting with the National Tripartite Committee there, and we'll definitely get you more of this particular issue. But that's how we're wrapping up the first part of this show. We'll have more on this very issue later on at 8 o'clock when Israel Eye comes your way. But the next segment, the second segment, the interactive segment, is coming up shortly with the lady Marian. Stay there. My name is Bright, and for this is today's big story. Thanks so much for staying there for the second part of today's big story, where we get interactive and we stay interactive too. Lady Marian has just joined me. Good evening, and I'm sure you're doing great.
I am doing great.
The week has just started.
Handsome today. Every time you come from the barber, it's fresh. You look very, very handsome.
Well, I like the way you try to always put me on the spot. But yes, it's a way of getting interactive. And we're told the deaths occurring again.
Yes. In the Brong-Ahafo region, the report came in late last night, and he's the ruler of the Siakwa, region in the Brong-Ahafo. Sekwa. Okay, Nana Kweku Jima Akwana, and he was gunned down on his own veranda.
Wow, that's quite sad.
Very, very sad. And that was the same thing that happened in Yendi. Perhaps it wasn't just the same thing, but then Yana was killed. Exactly, killed.
Up to today, we're yet to get to the bottom.
So you're asking yourself, will we get to the bottom of this one? Have things changed? What has happened so far? Is it time that we give the chiefs in this country security? Do they need it?
Welcome, Marian.
Thank you so much. Welcome to JN Interactive. My name is Marian Toure. If you're just joining us, you are at the right place. This is JN Interactive on your Joy News channel, only on Multi TV. You won't find us anywhere else but only here. So welcome to the show. If you're just joining us, I'd like to announce all the social media tools that you need to get in touch with us. We are on Facebook, and you will find us at facebook.com/joynewsOnTV. If you are tweeting us, please send your tweets to Joy News on TV. That is where we tweet at. And remember to use the hashtag JNInteractiveGH so that we'll be able to sort every comment that comes through and then share it with the rest of the world. If you're sending us an email, it's joynewsim@multitvworld.com, and our WhatsApp number is 0260 518-801. And I am on Twitter too. I tweet at MN2Ray. So JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. It is trending online. You're talking about it. And so we also are talking about it in this half-hour show that we have set aside so that we'll amplify your voice. You know, it's sad that news broke last night that the traditional ruler of the Sekwa traditional area in the Brong-Ahafo region, Nana Kweku Jima Akwana, had been gunned down allegedly by an unknown assailant at around 8 p.m. And we remember something like this happening in the Yana case in Yendi several years ago. And how anyone can do something like this in a chief's house, it actually beats our minds. So on JN Interactive today, we are discussing chieftaincy in the 21st century Ghana and what has been its contribution to the national agenda and the contribution of chiefs to the national agenda, be it positive or negative. And also in light of what has happened, is a time that chiefs were provided with security. So we are asking all of this. If you're joining us, go to our Facebook page, social media, comment, and we'll share with the rest of the world. So I think we have to take our first video blog now. And we've been asking you what your views are about it. We'll take our first video blog.
As of now, because of the democracy, it seems the democracy is collecting the chieftaincy's work out of hand. But the only thing they will just come and do is the politicians will just come and talk. We are working hand in hand with the chiefs. When we can, we'll do this and that for them. And after they are in power, they do to forget about the chiefs. This is very, very bad. But the olden time, the way in a manner, you know, the chieftaincy was very, very vibrant. I hope that way was helping us better than this time round. Yes, because nowadays the democracy is, you know, it is taking our culture. You see, we are emulating culture from somewhere else, forgotten of our own culture. That's very, very bad. At least with the government, when the government can, at least you should focus on, you know, give a focus on the chieftaincy.
As for their contribution, you know, what do you call it? Everything is from the government. The government have to, everything that will go into their, what do you call it, their, let's say, their hometowns or where they are instituted as a chief. Everything goes there. They have to discuss with the chief, and the chief have to give the go-ahead before everything will be doing. And when you talk about their, what do you call it, what they have been doing there, I would think that the chief, the money that they used to pay them, it's not enough for them to use to develop anything.
Chieftaincy is different from politics. So all the chiefs in Ghana, they shouldn't mingle with politics. Formerly, when there was a case in a village or a town, it's only the chiefs and the sub-chiefs that sit down and then deliberate about it. So I think those days, what we practice those days, I think if it is now, it's good than those days.
So welcome back. We have the Vice President of the National House of Chiefs on the phone now, and his name is Awulai Atibrukusu, and he's to share, you know, some insights for us, because that's what we do here on JN Interactive. Awulai, good evening and welcome.
Thank you so much.
My first question to you will be that
Could you please raise your voice a little high?
I want to find out whether there is room for chieftaincy in modern day Ghana.
Come again. Come again.
Is there room?
It has rained heavily in my area, so the lines are not that clear.
Okay, I'll try my best. Is there room for chieftaincy in modern day Ghana?
Very much. A lot of room in regards to what the chieftaincy is doing and what the chieftaincies are providing in terms of governance.
Okay.
In terms of governance, if you allow me to just give you a few examples and others, you actually see that the chieftaincy institution should be upheld in high esteem. For the first simple reason is that gone are the days the chieftaincy was different from this modern time chieftaincy. Nananum are these days, or Nananum are today, are partners in development with regards to the development of our area. Gone are the days when chiefs were illiterate, when chiefs were not brained, when chiefs were not highly educated. These days it's not so. You have professors who are chiefs. You have doctors who are chiefs. Doctors who are chiefs. You have a lot and a lot. Half of graduates is uncountable. Lawyers and others, judges and others.
Okay.
Now, with regards to what is going on in the country at the moment, chiefs are more concerned about development. But there's one thing I have to let you know. In every situation, or in every house, there's Mesa. In every situation, there's some bad nuts. So people cannot classify or cannot use just a half of chiefs who have been deceiving or doing things that they are not supposed to do to classify the chieftaincy institution to be bogus or to be something of irrelevance.
Right.
Look at this. It did happen that Otumfo and others, not even Otumfo alone, were able to arrange for what? For one bank, money, for a lot of development in the area. Myself sitting down here, I would like to Brukusu. Myself alone handled a girls' secondary school for 4 years. I was paying myself from my own pocket just because I love the girl child education. Because some time ago, I just said, if you educate a woman, you educate a lot of people, the whole nation. To educate a man, one single person have educated. So because of that, I had that in mind. And for 4 to 5 solid years, I myself was operating a whole secondary school. The then DCE helped me a lot by providing some of the structures, and I had to also get some. It was only last 2 years, some time ago, when current president, he was then the vice president, when he was in Azim during our Kuntum Festival, he promised that he will let the governor absorb the school. And it was absorbed late last year, September last year. So only last year was the only year they used the name of the school, Azim High Secondary.
Right.
Is it not an achievement?
It is.
It is a great achievement. Now, as I speak now, I have scholarship schemes that I pay people's scholarship. It is good these days to develop the woman resource capacity. The talk of development is not infrastructure alone. You're thinking of the woman resource development capacity. You develop the woman aspect of it. You develop the woman who he is or what he is. So at the end of the day, he will become asset to the nation.
Right.
A lot of the traditional areas are having scholarship schemes. And just imagine, in a year, just consider a lot of people who come out from the university or who enter with the support of traditional councils. They are what they have at the scholarship scheme.
Right.
It's not talking in terms of development.
It is. So my next question, I'm sure you've already answered it, and you would say it is positive, was that in the last 2 decades, since 1992 when Ghana returned to democratic rule, I wanted to find out whether you think that chiefs had contributed positively or negatively to Ghana. But from the analysis that you're giving me, you would say that they have contributed positively.
We have done a lot.
Right. So then, are we likely to have chiefs in the system in the next 2 to 3 decades? Do you think so?
Why not? For sure. As you keep on developing, developing upon the structure that was laid down. Gone are the days that we're not doing it. None at this present time are doing it. It will come to a time they will be doing more, better than we're doing now, because you're laying down a good foundation, a good structure. So whoever says that chieftaincy should be abolished or chieftaincy is not contributing anything to the state, I will challenge a person and I'll come out with my facts.
Okay.
And whatever I know, I will challenge a person. The one is able to defeat me.
Thank you so much.
That will be something, but he cannot.
Okay, thank you so much, Awulai. And that's Awulai Ati Brukusu, who is the Vice President of the National House of Chiefs, shedding some lights into chieftaincy for us right now. So we'll take our next video blog, and we were asking what the contribution of chieftaincy has been to our national development. Let's take a listen to our next video blog.
When you talk about relevance, first, it was the chiefs who were taking in charge of this country. To me, I see it's irrelevant.
Some do. Some of them are actually doing things for their spearheading projects and all that. So it has a positive side and also has a negative side. We are human beings. There'll always be the good and there'll always be bad.
Since our forefathers, it was the chieftaincy that they started. our colonial masters came and met the chiefs before they started doing something here. Because if there was not chiefs in Ghana here, the time our colonial masters came, where would they, put their bags? They should have not got anywhere to put their bags. Do you see? So because of the chiefs was there, it was good. It has helped them to govern us. Do you see? So we should not just do away the chieftaincy problems. It will help us. It is good.
Chiefs can contribute immensely towards the development of this country by way of organizing forum on child education, concerning child labor, then child trafficking, or something of that nature.
And so you all believe that, yes, they have contributed immensely to our national development. So we'll go to social media, especially Facebook now, and take some of your comments that have been coming through right now. And Roland Yabua Fine Boy says, what at all is Ghana turning into? What a pity. Kennedy says, may the soul of Nana rest in peace, but Ghana, God will punish the wicked killers. Andrew says, no, they do that. I'm not getting this one. Philip says, I'm even flabbergasted to hear this. May his soul rest in perfect peace. My sincere condolence to the entire family. Chieftaincy is helping a lot in this 21st century because chief serves as a link between the society and the government. They also play the role as executive and parliament as well as judiciary at the grassroots. These are all the importance of chieftaincy. I suggest that they must give massive security. Okay, you're making great sense there, but because most of what you have written is in shorthand, it's making it really difficult for me to read it. So I'll just beg your indulgence that next time you're putting it there, could you please try and make it a little bit of a full hand, because we're going to read it to our audience and people are going to look at it, so that at least it makes it a little bit easier for us to take it. Thank you so much. Efo says, oh, this is so sad and sympathetic. Is this what we are turning our chieftaincy institutions into? Like, serious? If there's a way to provide security for our chiefs, that would be the best way to go, because just like judges, chiefs also pass judgments. Ambrose says, senior, they should be provided serious security. Wea says, some chiefs deserve more than this. The politicians are next because they don't tell the truth like some chiefs. Christian Salvo, well, chiefs play a critical role in this country. Some years back, the chiefs were rulers of then Gold Coast until the governors came and took over. Therefore, they're very vital in this Ghana. Wahab says, where are we heading towards as a people? Kofi says, it's so unfortunate that the greater part of our chieftaincy institution has lost its value due to love of power. Francis Tofor says, sad news. If there's a better way to provide security for them, we should do that. Chieftaincy is still important institution, traditional. They have provided needed leadership to support our society. I take my final comment before we take our last video blog. Roland says, yeah, I think it wouldn't be bad to provide them with security, since they are also lawmakers, and like a judge, they might pass a law or judgment or something on someone, and it might end up in danger. So I think it's really time they provided them with some security. And so we'll go and take our last video blog, and in our final video blog we have been finding out from you if chiefs should actually have some security, and you'll be sharing your thoughts with us. Let's take that and then come and take some more comments.
The bodyguards are not necessary. All we have to do is tolerate one another.
They should give them security, at least security. The government should be able to provide them at least one policeman to guide the chief's house, at least one. You see, but if the government has not been able to do that, they should find their way of, defending themselves. It's very, very bad. Going in the chief palace to kill chief is very, very serious. It has been happening back in the length and time. people just mobilize, went and kill some chief at Yana, whatever. You see, it is very bad. It is something that is ongoing. So at least they should do something about it. They should do. This is not the first time. It has been happening. It's ongoing. So at least the government should do something.
When you talk about chief were the very important people in my neighborhood or in my hometown. The chief were very, very, very important people then. And those times when I was a kid, I see them, they were having some kind of, those times they are calling them abrafo and those kind of things. And those times they were having security, more securities. And then nowadays, as I would say, is that the reason why I would think that they should have, security is that, one, you could see that the chieftaincy has a little bit of problem. I will not call it a little bit, they have problem. Sick of that, you could see that all the people there, or the relatives who are entitled for the chieftaincy, they will be fighting and they'll be killing themselves. So I think that if they give a chief a security, I would think it will be good. But I'm asking, who is going to cater for it, or who is going to pay? That is my worry.
The boundaries they may need, because so far as they contribute to the development of the nation, bound means they should need some security to guide them wherever they go. Even at their homes and the palaces, there should be, or they can make their own army, like guards to guide the palace. When the chief is traveling or going into town, you can follow him to wherever he goes.
So you all agree that chiefs indeed need security. As far back as I can remember, what I know about history is that, chiefs, they seldom went anywhere alone. They went with an entourage, they had guards, even in their homes. And even that is what is portrayed in most of the Ghanaian and Nigerian movies that I see. So I believe it's a given that they should have security. So something should be done about it, so that at least they have the necessary security to protect them whilst they go about their duties. We'll take some more of your comments. Simon says, this is a criminal case and should be treated as such. On the issue of providing security to chiefs, I think it's necessary. And you put an exclamation mark here to say, yeah, it does really needs to change. Tufor says, what all is Ghana turning into? God save us. Baba Musa says it is very sad and the police must fish out the perpetrators and deal with them according to law. Karim Fuseni, yes, they need some security. Amos Addo, chieftaincy is an institution on its own. They shouldn't get into politics. And Lord Listerwell says, God have mercy on us. Roland says, yes, security is important for them if given, but not all chiefs. I think the senior, or if they like, the paramount chiefs should be considered, but not all chiefs. And that is a very, very good point there, that the senior most chiefs, the paramount chiefs, and those who are heads of, the community within the group of chiefs, obviously, should be given. Someone like the Asantehene and most of the paramount chiefs around those communities should be given security, and not just any chief at all. Christian Salvo, the chief's role are very important in our society. It is time to protect our chiefs by giving them adequate security so that they can have access to free movement in this country. Newton Jafford says, chiefs play important roles in the development of our communities. I think they should be provided with security. Justice Abitola Nana Say Kwaman and my related family, Minana Kweku Ajiman, soul rest in perfect peace, Ja Guide. Roland says, anyway, some of the chiefs deserve more than this since they are now using politics as a ground to build or acquire power when they are supposed to be independent. Richie says, I think government is not going to pay for any of that, because chieftaincy is different from the government of Ghana. If only the chiefs can pay that, then I think it is necessary. Kingsley Obing says the chiefs have contributed a lot to the development of the nation, but normally intrude negative behaviors and their governance. Justice says they need security. And I take my final comment. Roland Yeboah Fineboy says, do they need a lay lawyer? If yes, then I'm available, since I want to start practicing law, and I will use this to start by winning my case. Wow, that's where I end this for today. Thank you for all your comments that have come through. After all, the show is nothing without you and your contributions, so thank you very, very much. Brighton Full is back.
And of course, a lot more people talking about the issues of chieftaincy. But later on tonight, we'll be telling you more about President Mahama is making comments in relation to what was termed as his lack of political will to fight corruption when he met Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives. Israel will tell you more about it.
And GN Exclusive is coming up next right after this. As always, my name is Marian Toure.
And I'm Bright. And thanks so much for your time, and see you later on.
Good evening.